6 in relief of J.J. McCarthy, who's got his own issues right now. Seattle, meantime, improves to 9-3 despite their quarterback not having his best day, but a team effort here from Seattle. And Minnesota, gotta be frustrated. This hour of HQ Postgame is presented by Trimfia. Joe Musso, pleased to be alongside my guy, CBS lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones, the two-time champ Bryant McFadden, and the future gold jacket Patrick Peterson. Here to break down what we saw in this Minnesota-Seattle game, guys. And we'll get to the winning side, but bro, once again here, Max Brosmer, you can only expect so much of the undrafted free agent, but it just amplifies the decisions made over the last 12 months in Minnesota. And I can only describe it as infuriating if you are a Vikings fan, Mac. What are you seeing from the quarterback position here on Sunday, and maybe broader, the decision made with the other quarterback on the other sideline?
I think it's safe to say for the very first time under KOC, Kevin O'Connell, with the Minnesota Vikings, that the quarterback position is a liability. Mm-hmm. And when you look at what Kevin O'Connell has been able to do, regardless of who's been at the quarterback position, worst case scenario, we've seen serviceable play. With J.J. McCarthy, clearly the expectations are not there when he has been in the lineup. Mm-hmm. And now when you talk about having Max Brosman into this situation, a rookie free agent making his first start on the road in Seattle against the 12, against this defensive unit. Yeah. We knew it was going to be ugly, but we didn't think it would get this ugly. Sacked 4 times, 4 interceptions, because you don't want to go to Seattle in January football. Yeah. And play against this defensive unit. You talked about it. He didn't even do anything. I mean, offensively, Sam Darnold had 128 throwing. JSN, 2 receptions.
And I do want to get there, but I'm also interested, Pat, in your point of view here, because you're only so far removed from that head coach and from that locker room. We've talked about it. The success almost non-cyclical, not reliant on the quarterback that's playing the position. What is the difference right now when you look at what McCarthy has struggled with and today Brosmer?
I believe right now, just watching this team, is the connection with the quarterback and the receivers. Like, it's almost hard to watch J.J. McCarthy overthrow receivers, throwing the ball in the ground. That is how this offense is orchestrated, by quarterback play and also the running game as well. It's almost seeing Justin Jefferson today, 2 catches for 4 yards.
Wow.
Like,
he's the best on the planet when you get
4 yards.
Yeah, he had 4 yards today.
That's 2 yards a catch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like,
My
when
math is math.
you're not rounding up today, huh?
No, not yet.
But anyway, this team success predicates off the quarterback, and the quarterback right now is not giving them anything.
We've just seen so many different quarterbacks succeed in the system.
Yes.
We're seeing 2 struggle this season, JJ. It takes me back once again. 14 wins, Darnold and Jones in the same locker room, both seeing relative levels of success elsewhere. And if you're a Minnesota fan, you watched Max Brosmer play the way he did today.
Yeah, so obviously this is not a situation Minnesota wants to be in with Max Brosmer. They did have some confidence in him coming in, but it was misplaced. They should have Carson Wentz out there, but he got injured, right? Now, that is something about Carson Wentz. In his career, that's part of his story, is that he tends to get injured. You have J.J. McCarthy, who so far in his NFL career tends to get injured. Yep. If you go back to the decision that the Minnesota Vikings made, first of all, they had already drafted J.J. McCarthy with a top 10 overall selection. They made the choice that they want him to be their franchise future. They could have kept Sam Darnold, but anyone who was going to stay in Minnesota, whether it was Sam Darnold or whether it was Daniel Jones, let's say they outbid the Indianapolis Colts for Daniel Jones, that person still had agency. They still had the ability to make a choice, unless you're going to franchise tag someone. Mm-hmm. And do you make the choice, if you're Sam Darnold, I could go to Seattle, or I could make the same money or more money in Minnesota and compete with J.J. McCarthy? He decided to not compete with the top 10 pick, right? Daniel Jones made the same decision. I'm going to go compete against Anthony Richardson, not against the guy they invested a top 10 pick in. And so some of this, people want to blame Minnesota, but they had already made the decision 2 years ago that they were going to rock with J.J. McCarthy now. They haven't gotten enough out of him. They haven't seen him out there on the field enough, but clearly what they have seen is not good enough. And today, of course, it wasn't good enough because they have a good enough defense. Yeah. Don't turn the football over. This is an offense, guys. 8 games, they have had multiple turnovers this season.
Wow. In this game alone, they had 6.
You can't win with that. And to your point about McCarthy, today's not the day to drag the young man trying to figure it out. But from qualified quarterback since the year 2000, he ranks 853 out of 854 in EPA per dropback. So what he's going to do when the ball is put in his hands and he has to throw it downfield, only Jamarcus Russell worse by that measure to this point. He's in concussion protocol. We will get to see him again later on this season, but it's a Vikings team taking a massive step back after those 14 wins a year ago. We saw after the 14 wins, Sam Darnold become a Sam Darnold of old in the bigger moments. Not to liken this to a playoff moment, but you're playing against your team. There's a little bit of heightened pressure there, and he once again falls short of expectation. Do you attach those two things, that this moment and maybe a lack of the sharpest Sam Darnold we've seen?
I think two things could be true. I think the sharpness was not there, but also you talked about B-Flow and the defense, the strategy. Yes, they've been a bad team, but they still can play really good defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes they get a little worn out in the fourth quarter, but for the first three quarters, they were harassing Sam Darnold. And for the entirety of the ball game, when you look at the numbers, 128 yards, they did a great job in neutralizing Eface and JSN out of the game plan. He only had 2 receptions, but Seattle, they were fortunate enough. Their defense, they were the bullies in this matchup. But if you're Sam Darnold, I think, guys, he will always kind of have to look in his rear view, because what we thought about him last year surfaced in the more critical moments. Can he continue to sustain that high level of play?
But he didn't. But he didn't have to today. When your defense is turning them over, consider this: he didn't take any chances downfield today. And I know that we may want him to, and we want to see Jackson Smith and Jigba with the big numbers or whatever. The fact is that they scored on drives of 5 minutes or fewer every single time they were out there -1. They only had to put together one scoring drive that went longer than 5.5 minutes today.
Yeah.
And it was an overmatched team with a good defensive coordinator who continues to be put in terrible situations when the offense turns the football over. But Sam Darnold didn't have to do too much. This is a win and make it to the next week, right?
It is, but you still want to see rhythm. They relied on too many field goals. Right, Myers was their point getter.
They left points out there.
That's the thing. It's about the rhythm. Because I look at this division in totality, the NFC West, and you guys, let me know how you feel. If you had to rank the 3 quarterbacks, the 3 playoff quarterbacks currently in the NFC West, who are you ranking? Where? 1, 2, and 3.
Well, 1 is Stafford.
Okay.
Stafford,
who's 2 and who's 3?
Purdy, Darnold.
Say it again.
Stafford, Purdy, Darnold.
I agree with Joe. That's why I think for us as football fans, we want to see that rhythm continue to flourish. Because when you start rolling in January football, you got to be running right now. That Uber car got to already be running. You can't be patting the gas when it's cold outside and needed to crank up. It got to be crunk right now. And I think that is the consensus. Would you rank it the same way, Pat?
No doubt about it.
Those 3 quarterbacks that way?
Yeah, I have Sam, Purdy, and
Stafford first.
I'm sorry, Stafford, Purdy, and Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
We'll see how it shakes out. Likely all 3 will get an opportunity to play playoff football.
My question, Joe. Can you answer my question?
I don't do rankings.
Well, I will offer this. Minnesota, 96 net passing yards here on Sunday. Seattle, 121 yards of interception return. So
wow,
more yards going that way than going that way. It's a tough go for Minnesota. For Seattle, maybe a win and move forward. What do you, Pat, want to see from Seattle over this stretch run to maybe eschew some of the worries BMAC has?
No, that's honestly what BMAC just said is a valid point. Like, I want to see Sam Darnold be able to rise up in these moments because, yes, he played against his old team. He should know this defense.
Yeah.
He wasn't, to Joe's credit, to JJ's credit as well, he did not have to do much, but his rhythm was not there.
Yep.
He was not able to find his receivers and be able to pick up those key third downs. Yes, they got points on the board, but I want to see more from Sam Darnold because in the playoff time, there is no tomorrow. And you have to be able to be efficient on consistent on pretty much majority of the game if you want to have an opportunity to.
And I think maybe the first thing you said, the most important, if this team can get those games to be played there, a much better chance in Seattle.